cannabis is legal in Canada. Not something I thought I would know. I'm not much of a drinker. I'm not a drug taker. I'm an eater, for fucking sure of it. I've only had one previous drug experience, and that was when I was once in Amsterdam, and I had a space cake. And I complained at the bakery because it was very dry. They'd spent no time or effort on the cake part of it at all. It was just a bun. It was even called a space cake. I wanted to say to the guys there, like, be more creative with your drug-based confectionery items. If I worked there, there'd be banoffee high. That would be nice. A crack forest gatto. Who wouldn't want that? Eaten meth. Over Christmas, you could have kettle mince pies. And a spliffy toffee pudding. But I was in Canada for work. I was there with two female friends, similar age to me. We had one night off where I decided to have a night of debauchery. Now, debauchery looks different to different people. I'd like you to remember that as we work our way through the story. One of the girls said, let's get some edibles. And I was like, yeah, right, I'm starving. Turns out doesn't mean lunch. She wanted to go in this edibles shop. I was nervous of this because I thought it's going to be full of cool people who've done this sort of thing before, and I'm going to look like a total square because I haven't. Couldn't have been further from the truth. It was a really nice experience. We go to this shop, really helpful young man talks us through it all. He said, first of all, have any of you done this before? Two of us had, one of us hadn't. He didn't really need to ask me. I still had my blazer on. He said, if you haven't done it before, you should start with a partial one, the little jelly sweets, if you don't know. Start with a partial one, then after about 45 minutes, you know how that's affected you, and you can decide if you want to stop there or have a bit more. Good plan. So we bought some, all sorts of flavours, watermelon flavour. The thing that worried me is that I fucking love a jelly sweet. I was worried I was going to end up off my tits just because I wanted more sweets. So because of that, went straight from that shop into a supermarket, bought normal sweets for Sarah, thank you. We go back to the hotel, there's a nice restaurant there. That's where we decide to have our evening meal. Because it's a night of debauchery, I order myself half a shandy. Now, that might not seem like a big deal to you guys, but that's all I drink alcohol-wise, and I only do it 3 or maybe 4 times a year, so it hits me hard and it hits me fast. Over the course of the meal, I probably drank like a third of that, so a third of a half, a sixth of shandy. And one of the girls said to me, how big is your room? We're all staying in the same hotel. I said, it's big enough to do drinking drugs in. I was already pissed. We go back to my room. Because it's my first time, I decided to have a third. I have a third of an edible. This is where my friends started to take the piss out of me because I set an alarm on my phone for 45 minutes. We're going to have fun, but it's going to be accurate fun. And the alarm goes off and they're looking at me to see how it's affected me. I said, to be honest, I can't really tell because I still feel a bit pissed from the 6th of shandy. They have a bit more. I stop there. We chat for about another hour. Then we all go our separate ways to bed. It's about 9:30 p.m. Fuck off. We go for a nice brunch, the 3 of us, the next day. And one of the girls said to me, did you notice it kicking more, like after we left you last night? I said, I don't really think so. She said, maybe have a bit more next time. I said, yeah, maybe. And then she looked at me. She looked at my hands. And she went, when did you paint your nails? I said, oh, you know, it might have affected me. Because after you left last night, I painted my nails and I genuinely couldn't find the ends of my fingers. That's what people say, you're supposed to know your limits. That's what they say, and I do. It's a third of an edible, a sixth of shandy, and 4 bags of Tang Fast sticks. 2 ounces of cocaine, no. See, that's where I'd fuck up. I'd use the sweet measurements and I'd apply them to drugs. I'll have 2 ounces of cocaine and a quarter of heroin. Can you put a lorry in the heroin? Let's make this motherfucker a dib-dab. Are you an eager beaver or a late bloomer? If you're a late bloomer like me, then my new show is just for you. Late Bloomer is available now to stream and download from my website, sarahmillican.co.uk.